Our San Antonio Spurs have the 20th overall pick in next month's draft. Would Morez Johnson Jr. be the perfect pick? What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. And before we get into whether he would be the perfect pick or not and talk about Morez Johnson Jr., I also wanted to clarify some things coming up with the draft, as I've been getting a lot of questions. Our Spurs have the 20th overall pick due to their pick swap with the Atlanta Hawks. Otherwise, the Spurs will be picking 29th. There'd be a lot of questions. Well, TSR, don't we have the 8th pick? No. Atlanta's 8th pick is from a trade with the Pelicans and maybe the Bucks too. I don't remember. We are not eligible to swap for that pick, so we are picking 20th. Now, on to the subject at hand. Mo, let's get into an article from Air Alamo. I know some people don't like Air Alamo, but I thought they did a good summary, and then we're going to do a scouting report, draft projections, etc. The 2026 draft is unusually deep. Good. The Spurs absolutely have a chance at landing another young stud with their first-round pick. Michigan's Morez Johnson looks like the gem they'll be searching for. Johnson's combine week has been excellent so far. For starters, he measured in at 6'9" barefoot with a 7'4" wingspan and a 250-pound frame. He posted the 4th best pro lane drill time at the combine, beating out speedy guards like Kingston Flemings and Ibuka Okari, while also logging the 15th best maximum vertical leap. Size, speed, athleticism, girth. Sign me up. He was an integral part of Michigan's national championship team this past season, posting averages of 13 points, 7 boards, and 1 block while shooting 62% from the floor. The power forward is one of the most impactful defenders in the class. He's unbelievably versatile, using the side and speed he showcased at the combine to swarm and smother all 5 positions. A competitor in every sense of the word who affects the game positively every night, regardless of whether he has 2 points or 20. So he can defend through 1 through 5, and he's a two-way player. Even when he's not producing on the offensive side, he's producing on the defensive side, and we've had a lot of players in Spurs, players in the NBA in history that can do it on one end of the floor, but can't get it done on the other end, and he can do it on both. That's what I like to see. That's what the Spurs are building right now, right? Guys that can do it on both ends, Wemby, Castle, etc. Let's keep it going. Johnson would bolster their size in a major way. Talking about our Spurs, we certainly need size, while also accentuating the silver and black strengths on defense and interior scoring. With the way he's popped at the combine after a super impressive season at Michigan, it's very possible that Morez Johnson won't be available when the Spurs are finally on the clock. If he is, though, San Antonio should be all over that. And Spurs fans, that is the million-dollar question. If there's a player you're interested in, or our Spurs more importantly are interested, will he be available at 20? Let's pull up our draft boards. Kind of get an idea where he is. And I pulled up 4. Tankathon has him ranked at 17, ESPN 24, CBS Sports at 21, and Yahoo Sports at 18. Of course, take these draft boards with a grain of salt. If he continues to do well at the combine, he could move up a little bit. If he has a bad day, he can move down. Who knows? But as you can see right here, he is projected to go around pick 20, our pick. And quite frankly, who would have wanted another Johnson? Okay, looking at the most recent Bleacher Report mock drafts, they have Mo going at 22 to the 76ers. They had the Spurs drafting Alan Graves, a power forward from Santa Clara, at 20. Obviously, we get closer to the draft, I'll start exploring all these guys we might take, but I want to talk about with Johnson first. And obviously, Mo isn't perfect. Let's pull up his scouting report. Look at the positives and negatives that the experts have to say. This is from Sports Illustrated, so I think that's a pretty reliable source. His positives: size and strength, which we know, versatile defender, and then a finisher in the paint. And they did reference that this isn't just all dunks, but he's very good at finishing with tip-ins, putbacks, etc. So he's a good finisher in the paint, a good rebounder, a very good offensive rebounder from what I've read, which is certainly something the Spurs could use. And he's a good screener. Reading about his screenings, because of his size, he's a wall, which makes sense. If you're a 6'5", 200-pound guard trying to go around a screen and boof, there's a 6'9", 250-pound dude. Yeah, that Johnson ain't moving. All right. I'm done with the Johnson jokes, but it is ironic that we possibly have a third Johnson with our franchise, Keldon, Mitch, and now Morez. The negatives. Okay. Scouting report says passing and playmaking, 1.1 assists to 1.3 turnovers. That is a negative assist to turnover ratio. We're not really concerned there. He's not going to be expected to play make. We have a bunch of playmakers on this team. His job is going to be to defend, rebound, finish in the paint, and maybe shoot. Who knows? They put shooting kind of as a question mark. That's why I put shooting as a question mark as well, because he was only 10 of 24 on threes. That is a very limited sample size. He was not launching threes. He's not Steph Curry, but that is 42%. And it should be noted he shot 78% from the free throw line with Michigan. There might be a decent shooter hiding in there. We've seen the progression of Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle this season from where they started to where they are now. If this guy becomes a 3D player, then, oh my gosh, he's going to have a very high ceiling. But would he be the perfect pick for our Spurs? It sounds like it. Our future lineup, if you kind of look forward ahead in a couple years, and this is what the assumption that Fox has been traded or taken in the expansion draft, etc. I don't see him playing out his entire contract with the Spurs. Financially doesn't make sense. Or financially doesn't work, for that matter. But our starting lineup in a couple years could be Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Carter Bryant, if he keeps developing the way that we think he can, Morez Johnson Jr., and Victor Wembanyama. And when I think about those five on the floor, we already know we have the best defensive player in the world with Wemby. But we got a very good defenders with Castle and Bryant, and Harper is turning into a good defender as well, and add him into the mix. This could be a defensive nightmare for opponents, quite possibly a perennial best defensive team in the NBA. And we've talked about it on the channel. I don't know if the stat still holds, but the Spurs, last I knew, were undefeated when they hold opponents to under 100. Add another stout defender in, woof, this Spurs team could be unstoppable. And they would have so many guys that can do it on both ends. That's the key, too. Not just having somebody that's a defensive stopper, but averages 2 points a game and can't shoot, can't do this, can't do that. Having guys that can do it on both ends, I think, is going to be huge. And this is a player that I really like from what I'm reading on him, from what I'm saw on him. But will he be there at 20? And that's actually we'll close with that, Spurs fans. Drop a comment down below. First off, is this a player you want? Because I have seen a few talk about him. And then I saw the Air Almo article, and I thought, well, you know what? Now might be a good time to do a video on him, as not much happening today. Spurs game tomorrow, but not much today. Or do you think he's going to be gone by pick 20? Is he going to go? Could he move up to a lottery pick? I'd be shocked, considering that original projections were mid to late first round, and now he's kind of moving up into the top 20. Or is there somebody else? You don't even want him at all. Who else are you eyeballing? Is Allen Graves a player that I just mentioned that's Bleacher Report has us taking? Do you think he'd be a better fit for our Spurs? You guys watch a lot of more college basketball than I do, aside from UConn. I watch UConn with Miss TSR. Of course, we have our eyes on the UConn prospects. Can we get Alex Caravan, who's having a great combine? Miss TSR told me, could we grab him in the second round? Terrace Reed Jr. It's going to be a fun draft. I don't think we're taking all three. We're not using, all 3 second-round picks, but I see us using the first one, especially if we can get a player like him, and at least one in the second round. The other two, who the heck knows? Brian Wright always surprises me. That's all I got. I'm starting to ramble. Drop a comment on everything we talked about. Hit the thumbs like support the channel, and subscribe to become part of our awesome Spurs community. I thank you, and as always, go Spurs go.